Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Juno New Origins, where we are currently heading out to do our Cutting Corners air race. As far as the spaceport Esperanza goes, I have an idea on how to get it to recognize the spaceport, but we'll get to that. For now, of course, we need to make sure that our plane is working, and that's kind of a lot. Okay. Noted. We appear to be falling out of the sky at this moment. And yeah, this isn't surprising. Apparently it didn't save again. So that's interesting. Let's actually undo an exit. There we go. Let's pull this right on back. And if we resume the flight, okay. So we actually need, because I've restarted the game, we actually need to recover this craft, which is fine. We're sitting right on the runway. So now we need to go into here. And this is the newer variant of this. I want to take a quick peek at what we've got going on for our center of lift and center of mass. Okay, noted. And let's see how it flies with these redesigns, right? So we're significantly different in terms of our control surfaces. And let's see if this falls out of the sky again. So we're going to head on forward here. And of course, we're going to do this sky race eventually, once we get this thing in a state where it is reasonably flyable, right? Okay. We're naturally nosing down here. Well, we are nosing up, but it's not at a considerable rate. It's very sluggish on the pitch. The roll is fine. So we can bank out over this way, but you can see there we're nosing down. Our pitch is definitely too sluggish. So let's pull this back quick. The balance feels relatively okay. We might tweak that a little bit, but what I want to do right now is I want to give us a little bit more pitch authority. About like that. And let's see how that feels. Okay. So with a little bit more pitch authority, we'll also have a little bit more roll authority, which isn't ideal necessarily. We were fine on roll. But we definitely need a little bit more pitch authority. Let's see. Whoa, okay. Let's see how that feels. Uh-huh. Okay. Well, that definitely needs a little bit of work. So, that was interesting. No doubt about that. That was very interesting. I want to move these engines slightly forward and see what that ends up feeling like. I'm very sad that we apparently didn't save the previous design, but let's just do something like that and see what that feels like. So it was very sluggish until it wasn't. And then it was very abrupt. Okay. So I'm just noting the directionality of our flaps here. Uh-huh. Yeah. So it's very sluggish. No doubt about that. And this probably has to do with the positioning of our weight, right? So we can take a look at the overall center of mass versus center of lift here. And you can see they are very close to identical. So I would very much like to move these guys like all the way forward to about here or so. And let's see what that feels like. Okay. Let's work on lifting off here. I'm still not sure which direction is nose up and which direction is nose down. That's going to be exciting. Okay. So we're inverted, I think. Well, that's exciting. So we just have basically no authority whatsoever. It's not doing anything. Cool. That's good to know. At least once we get up to a certain speed. Okay. I'm trying to remember where we had the engines previously. I think the engines were further back previously. Let's see how that feels. We're just adjusting the center of mass here. Well, that was a physics bug. A recoverable one, at that, remarkably. I'm surprised that we were able to recover that, for sure. Okay, so off we go here. Okay. So we're naturally nosing down, but we do have some amount of pitch. The question, of course, being, how controllable is this? So if we were to bank over this direction, right, and go for the checkpoint. Now, I'm not expecting to nail this on this first go. In the slightest. It's reasonably controllable, though. The pitch is still a little bit sluggish. No doubt about that. So we might want to put some control surfaces on the canards. That's a potential option if we want to increase our amount of authority there. So we can definitely add a control surface here, set to pitch like that. And this is set to input of pitch like that. And it should, I believe, be inverted. We could also increase the deflection angle here and here. That might give us too much pitch authority. Let's see what that feels like. Okay, so they're going the same direction. And let's work on taking off here. That's definitely giving us a lot more authority. I can already feel that. I'd like this guy to be a little bit more maneuverable, you know? Okay. Ooh, that's exciting. That was a big nose up. Way too much of a nose up, in fact. So obviously, we're falling, and we're not going to build that speed back up. Surprisingly, we survived it. That is very surprising. I don't think we're going to lift back off, for the record. No. This is not going to happen. Let's try that again. And I want to just see if that was a physics bug or if we have just too much control authority. It's very possible that this is just too much pitch authority, and we pitched up extraordinarily sharply there. So I want to feel this out. Let's just let this go without doing any inputs whatsoever here other than course correction straightening. Okay. So that is a natural nose down. Yeah, this is too much control authority. Okay, well, let's pull that back, and let's remove the control authority off of the canards. It's clearly too much. So we're going to remove that control surface. They're just there to be stabilizers and provide a little bit of front lift. So that's fine. Let's try this like this. So we're going to build up some speed here and nose on up. Oh, look at that. We just naturally lifted off. Okay, let's check our pitch authority on banking. Obviously, we don't have the start checkpoint. This feels okay. Yeah, this feels pretty good. It still has a little bit of natural down pitch, but that is manageable. Yeah, this is quite maneuverable. I like it. No major issue there. Okay, so that should be the plane design. Pretty much good to go at this point. I'm quite pleased with how this feels. Oh yeah, that feels good. Very solid overall. Little bit of wobble there as we are combining these maneuvers together. But overall, this feels very, very controllable. Yeah, that felt good. Okay, so that's all absolutely fine. We could do a practice landing here. I'm very bad at landing this thing. Let's cut our engines and just try to bring this around over here. This is going to go very poorly. Yeah, I'm very, very bad at landing this. Ooh, that was weird feeling. Okay. Probably because we're gliding right now and have no engine here. Ooh, that was exciting. Okay, so we've lost a lot of our airspeed, and that is good when we're attempting to go in for a landing. I'm really, really bad at landing this thing. That's for sure. And of course, I was just trying to hit this, but that's fine. Okay, so we naturally took off when we were attempting to nose up all the way down the runway. So let's just see what this feels like. And of course, landing is the hard part. But I'm wondering how much spare time we have. And I'm also wondering... Well, the time is going to be a main constraint here. Okay, so let's head off over this way. We still need to build up some airspeed, but I would like to get turned over here to make our way to this checkpoint. Okay, so we would need to do something kind of like that. We're wobbling a little bit right now. Okay. We're wobbling quite a lot, actually, but there we go. There's checkpoint 2. Okay, checkpoint 3 is there. So I guess we're supposed to, like, bank around here and come down there. Sure. I still wish we could see where the next checkpoint was going to be for lineup purposes. That would be really convenient, but alas... As we stop these banks, there's sometimes, if we toss in roll, there's quite a lot of wobble. And I think that's indicative of there being too much roll authority. So let's actually come in here and let's grab these control surfaces here. And I want to make sure this should be at 45 as well. Okay. And then these out here are currently... I see. So this is all considered... No, it's not. Hang on. Let's bring this down to like 20 degrees here. And 20 degrees here. Like that. So that'll reduce our amount of roll authority. And let's see if that cleans up that wobble. Because it definitely tries to wobble a little bit as we're doing this. Okay. Well, let's take right on off here. We've got the immediate bank over that we know needs to happen. So we know we immediately have to head over this way, right? We were nosing up. We are now nosing down as part of this bank. Which is understood. Okay. There's definitely still a little bit of wobble here. It's not quite as stable as I would have liked. Okay, so this is just kind of up and over, right? Like that. Where's checkpoint 4? Off over this way. Ooh, hang on. That was a little bit too much on the bank. Okay. Now we can bank this over this way. So, I mean, this is still quite maneuverable, no doubt about that. And as our airspeed goes up, it does improve, for sure. Looks like checkpoint 4 is... What? Why did we pitch down and enter a spin there? That was exciting. That was definitely unexpected. Huh. I wonder why that happened. Can we replicate that? I was pitching up, and it just suddenly nosed down and did like a flip downward. I don't really have an explanation for that. Okay, well, let's just bring ourselves over this direction. We need to... What? It did it again. Why is this suddenly doing this? That's intriguing. I would suspect that that was just a matter of not having enough airspeed, except that it happened after we were up to speed. Huh. Well, one thing I'm noting is that our yaw appears to be broken, and we could definitely... Whoa, hang on. This is going to be a weird physics thing. That was some exciting physics indeed. Okay, well, we're going to pull this back, and I'm noticing that we're not getting any yaw out of this control surface. So, let's see here. This is currently set to auto. Let's set it to yaw. And let's see if that's working now. Yeah, now it's working. Cool. So now our yaw control surface is functional. I don't know why it wasn't before, but I don't think that was the cause of what we have been experiencing all of a sudden. We were flying very cleanly until suddenly it just decided to lose all attitude and just catapult into the ground. Okay, so we want to bank out over this direction. I think... Yeah, it's definitely doing it again. Okay, so let's pull this back. First things first, I want to increase our control authority here a little bit. So we are going to bring this back up to 35. I think that felt reasonably good at 35. I think it felt better than at 20. Okay. Now, let's see if we can figure out... I don't think that's the problem with our pitching. So let's see if we can figure out what's going on with the pitching. I'm going to keep this straight. We're not going to try to bank it for right now. And let's just correct our drift a little bit here. Okay. So we're keeping it straight. If we attempt to bank... It appears to just be working at this point. Okay. I don't really have an explanation for that, then. Wild. Well, we can definitely make some attempts at this anyway. Try to figure out mostly where these are, right? Okay, this is going to be a problem. Ooh, that was close to a crash. If we were to come around this way, though, and we probably have plenty of time for this, I just don't know where all of the checkpoints are, so I can't really plan our flight path without knowing where the checkpoints are, right? That's the core issue there. We have a lot of altitude at this point, of course, and we're going to want to nose up a little bit here and come right through like that. Okay. This thing does still like to naturally nose down, which is understood. But here's checkpoint 4. Now, checkpoint 5 is out over here. Noted. Okay. It's pretty small. but we have a lot of time to prep for it. Okay, so this definitely has some wobble to it, but it's something that I think that I could get used to and be able to pilot at a reasonable level to get through this race. Okay, so here's checkpoint 5. Checkpoint 6 is out over this way. Noted. So we can position ourselves somewhere around here or so. Nose up a little bit. Maybe not quite that much. Okay. Like that. Checkpoint 7. Whoa, that's that flip. I don't know why that's happening. It goes the opposite direction as what the rudder is telling it to do. I'm thinking it might have something to do with the center of mass position here. Let's take a quick peek. It happens very abruptly. And from what I can tell, at semi-random times. Well, for one thing, I'm noticing that our wings are offset. So we should definitely do something about that and move this guy forward to be... I'm going to turn the grid size down here. I want these to be basically flush with the end of the fuselage here. So about right there or so. And then about right there. So that might be the problem. Okay. We can give this a quick go and see if we reproduce the issue. Well, let's see if we can get through this. I mean, we have the physics bug. So, not that time. To be clear, that is a bug. That's not a thing that should happen. Okay, let's try this again. That's how it should behave. So that's okay, and I do believe that we have plenty of speed to get this done in a lot of time. It's not quite as generous as the last one. That's for sure. Okay, so we're banking this... Ooh, okay. That was interesting. To be sure. Okay, so in that... with that in mind, in that case, I think it probably still has to do with the positioning of the engines. I'm still trying to diagnose what exactly is causing that to happen. Although that was, I think, the opposite issue. Yeah. This is, I think, just not enough airspeed built up, is my theory. So that flipped up, and then the forces caused us to flip too much upwards. So that is just a positioning of the center of mass issue, which isn't surprising that we're having since we changed our center of lift. So let's take a look at what we've got here. Yeah. So we should probably move this guy to be a bit further forward. In fact, if we were to put it all the way up here, our center of lift changed quite a bit just from slightly changing those bottom wings. So let's see what it feels like with the engine all the way forward, right up against that canard. Okay. So we're just going to take off here. Natural pitch down is very difficult to overcome with the engine this far forward. Okay, that is a good sign because that means that we are definitely correctly diagnosing that issue. So from here, what I want to do is I want to kind of split the difference, and we'll put this guy right about here. And let's see how that feels. We are very close to getting this plane dialed back in. I'm very, very salty at myself for not apparently saving it previously. And physics book. Okay. Sure. Is it recoverable? No. Okay. Well, we'll just retry that. That would be a really, really nice thing if that would be fixed. Because that's not how anything behaves. Oh, once again. Okay. Well, there goes our rudder. Let's try this again. Again, that's not how anything behaves. There we go. That's how things behave. Excellent. So we're just going to pull this down and we'll see how maneuverable it feels. Okay. Ooh, okay, yep, we're running into that inverted flip, and there we go. So that's going to require more tuning. That's fine. I'm going to tune this a bit off camera, and we'll get to the point where we've got this approximately where it needs to be, in theory. In theory. So that'll be fine eventually. But we just need to move this around and figure out where it needs to go. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Andy Magar, Ali Lee, Dark Horse Xenocyte, Hiro Marutsu, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video. And as always, I will see you all next time.